Hell of a thing. A racist man fatally shoots a black male who was attempting to break up a fight. We have the details. Put it up full mass. White male in Indiana. Kaeden Douglas shouted a racial slur, then shot a black man point blank in the chest after he had tried to break up a bar fight in Indiana. The shooting occurred at a bar called Mucky Duck in Indianapolis. I'm going to give you the background. So Atlanta Black Star did a great job on the reporting. The murder charges have been filed currently. A man who got into a drunken fight with bar patrons, then fatally shot the black male who simply attempted to de-escalate the fight right after calling the black male a racial slur. Textbook hate crime, okay? Textbook. Police charge 21-year-old Kaeden Douglas with the murder of 28-year-old Jereme Dillingham. Witnesses told authorities that Douglas first made a scene in the bar when he threw a chair to the ground and started shoving a man. Surveillance footage showed Mr. Dillingham, the Good Samaritan here, intervene and stop the fight. He and Douglas even parted on friendly terms, shaking hands and hugging. This is all in the video. Witnesses obviously testified to the facts, but all of this is in the video. You have a drunken individual. He's having a drunken night. Bartender probably should have cut him off earlier. He gets a chair, he throws it, creating a scene. There's a decent human being in that space, so decent that even though he's out having a good time, attempting to relax and unwind, balance his life, enjoy himself, he sees a person about to make a dramatic mistake. And he intervenes, a stranger intervenes. After that, the person who he stopped from making this dramatic mistake shakes his hand, hugs him. But then Douglas got into a rowdy dispute with the staff after they asked him about the tab at the bar. After launching a heated altercation with the waitress, Mr. Dillingham, once again, Good Samaritan, protected the waitress. Now, if he protected anybody else in the bar, why would he not protect a waitress? Of course he will. Unfortunately, he was the only one, it seems like. So Douglas was thrown out of the bar by a bouncer. A bartender told investigators that before he left, Douglas says, quote, "You are all dead men." Now, at that point, if that bouncer was a police officer in his full-time job and he was a bouncer in his part-time job, he would have had arrest powers to arrest the guy. I don't know if he had that authority or not. But I do know telling everyone you're all dead men, well, that's a terroristic threat, okay? At that point, that's an arrestable offense. He's already committed multiple crimes that he could have been arrested for prior to that, damage to property included. Then he walked to the car, so he's allowed to continue. He walked to the car where bar patrons heard him repeatedly say the N-word. A woman eventually confronted Douglas. They got into an argument. And she told the police she had to punch him. She said he then reached into his passenger side window while saying the B word, "I have something for you." She ran away in fear that he would harm her. Only minutes later did Dillingham left the bar. When Douglas saw him, witnesses say he shouted the N-word. He said, "N-word, come here." When Mr. Dillingham walked over to Douglas to the car, security footage showed him reaching into Douglas's car before he was shot in the chest. Douglas then sped off. One witness told police he heard the sound of a gun cock and tried to warn Dillingham as he approached the car. So Why is Mr. Dillingham reaching inside of the car? Because he sees the gun pointed toward him. That's why. That's why he's reaching in the vehicle. He's trying to stop it rather than run away, because he knows if the man is conclusive in his decision to shoot him, he can't outrun a bullet. Put it at full mask. Bystander rendered medical aid to Mr. Dillingham. While waiting for medics to arrive, the 28-year-old was taken to a hospital where he was pronounced dead. Hearts and prayers with the family, friends of Mr. Dillingham. A SWAT team arrested Douglas at his home. He went home. Police found 6 shell casings from a .40 caliber handgun in his car that reportedly matched the gun seen in the surveillance footage. In his interviews with police detectives, Douglas said that he did not recall what happened at the bar that night. He told them he could, quote, drink like a hog, end quote, mixed light and dark drinks, and that he was a, quote, lightweight, but also accused bar staff of overserving him and giving him drinks with heavy pours. He also alleged that someone could have possibly spiked his drinks. A bartender told police that Douglas had 3 shots of whiskey in 3 hours. He was at the bar that night. When investigators asked if he feared for his life, he first said that he wasn't afraid, but then walked back those statements to claim self-defense. WIBC reported Douglas was charged with murder 5 days after the shooting. An autopsy confirmed Dillingham's death was in fact a homicide. According to the Marion County prosecutors, put him up, Ryan Mears. So Ryan said, quote, the allegations contained in the probable cause affidavit state that racist and vile language was used before his fatal shooting and demonstrate how hate and aggression can escalate into a deadly outcome. That is literally, as I said, textbook hate crime. Scream a racial slur, you then engage in a criminal act, hate crime. All right, so let's back up to his confession. So he confesses he's done it. He did it, right? He then says, well, I wasn't afraid when I did it. Then he says, but I actually did it in self-defense. So I was afraid when I did it. But prior to that, he said he doesn't remember anything that happened that night. But here's what he does remember. He remembers, according to his own testimony to the police, he was poured both dark and light liquors. He remembers that somehow the bartender used heavy pour. He also remembers that he was either afraid or not afraid and acted in self-defense. But what part do you not remember? Because everything that's important to the case, you have full knowledge of. All right. Once again, we have a beautiful human being, dear brother, who was attempting to simply be who he is, a beautiful human being. And then we have a very adverse human being who decided to take his life. What say you?
Yeah, it's, I mean, you talked, Dr. Richey, about it being textbook. What's also textbook is blame everybody else, right?
Yeah.
I mean, oh yeah, first of all, he drinks like a hog, is according to him. And then he calls himself a lightweight. So you can't be both. And
yeah, that's another one.
That just like contradicting himself. I took the time earlier to look up what a mucky duck was. And one of the definitions I came up with, I found, was that it is a evil and lecherous man is one of the things that I found for a mucky duck. And also somebody, the villain from the cartoon Darkwing Duck was called Muck Duck, and it was someone composed of trash and goo. So I guess he was in the right place that night. But absolutely, I mean, it continues textbook where he blames everybody else. Oh, maybe they overserved me. Maybe they spiked my drink. And that's what brought out the racist in me and the murderer in me. So it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, it doesn't. No more than if he would have got a DUI that night or got into an accident that night and killed somebody. The fact that he was drinking would not have eliminated the charge of vehicular homicide.